we don't in the U.S. address the violence within our own country, and how the government and those who are privileged from their position, how that interprets into violence against people of color. And that statement resonated with me because of my work with American Indian students within a university setting, and the degradation and inequality that they experience within that setting, right? And the violence, of course, that we all know in our history. But I think we don't acknowledge the violence upon which our country has been built, not only with Native people, but African Americans and others who have come to this country. So but that's how that piece resonated with me.
I'm a David Selleck. Born Again War.
Born Again War.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this piece?
And I think it depicts the horror and tortures that we have visited upon and are visiting upon people who come into our power, under our power, and probably the Abu Ghraib and maybe Guantanamo. And it's just a horrible deal. I don't think we needed to be part of this. We didn't need to go to Iraq. So that's what this whole exhibit is about, an unnecessary war.
I had read a line from a news story about how in the Arabic cultures they don't say he or she died, they say her eyes no longer shine. And there was something about that concept that just fired me up, and I'd never made an altered book before, right to left, because it's entirely in Arabic. And I made sure that I wasn't using sacred texts. I actually accidentally picked out a sacred text and got it translated, and realized that I didn't want to mess with that. I would not have taken a holy book apart. It was almost too much. I almost couldn't go forward because some of the images were so horrific and just made me so horribly sad, and then I realized that I needed to go through with it. And some of the images I actually had to embed. And so I realized the trick would be
an example.
Getting people. Well, you know, work of art to me has to have a value beyond making a statement. It has to be beautiful at the same time. And that's just how I work. And so I figured the trick would be drawing people in by creating something that was intriguing enough and beautiful enough that they would want to see it. This is the book about children. This is about temples and churches, and this is just sort of general. Around. I found that actually on a patriotic website. And then you keep going, and then you get to here. Pull this out. What you see is women with children. That is a child in a hospital. And I covered it just a tiny bit. This is actually a dead child. And I felt somewhere in there I had to say that. And she still has a pacifier in her mouth.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this is almost an iconic image that everyone saw. That was in the first couple of weeks of the war. And that reassures me somehow, but it's also incredibly sad. What is a child doing in the middle of a battlefield? Because it's so hard to look at, but it's a dead child in a pile of rubble. And he or she is curled up in a fetal position, and all the body parts aren't even there, but the face is there. And I think that was the moment for me, as I just looked at this image and I thought, what is going on in the world when a dead child ends up in a pile of rubble and somebody just leaves it there? So that's kind of what I was trying to do, was embed the images so that people could come through and, take in what they could, and they don't have to open that if they don't want to.